Welcome back, everyone. Here we are today on episode 2117 of the Cabral Concept, our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Can't wait to get into today's show, which is going to be all about ending procrastination by doing this. So the way that this topic came about, because it always comes from the real world, always comes from our practice, or also the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, where we are teaching that next generation of health coaches. So we just finished up our latest IHP Mastery class. It only happens once to twice a year. And it's a 6-month based program. And what we're trying to do is help people deliver consistent results in their own life, meaning they're consistently moving forward in life towards their greatest goals. Now, there's much more to it than that, but I want to keep it at that. And then it's also, as you begin to not only understand but live these principles, because they are universal principles, they are literally laws that have been built into this world, to this universe, then you go out and you're able to help others with that at the same time. So the goal in life, in my opinion, is to be able to master something, get good at something, so good that it enhances your life to such a great degree that you can't help but go out and share that information with others. I always talk about it. Most people that get into the natural health field, or at least many people, I honestly would say at least 80%, have gone through their own health-based challenges, their own struggles. They at first didn't get their answer. All of a sudden, though, after putting in the time, meeting with different practitioners, studying different information, that answer then became apparent to them. They were able to get well, and now they want to share that information with others. And that's why I call it one of the noblest services and causes out there, because you found your answer and now you want to share that with others. The problem is this: even in IHP Mastery, a lot of these students had already gone through IHP Level 1, which is the Integrative Health Practitioner, Health Coaching Certification Level 1, and they've even gone through Level 2. Not all, but most. So now they're in Mastery. So they've put in hundreds of hours of time into their education, but still, there's a little bit of this self-doubt. There's a little bit of this imposter syndrome. There's a little bit of this fear, and we talk about that as we move into that last module. So what I wanted to do was just share one of those principles with you. Of course, we can't condense a 6-month course into a 20-minute podcast, but this is a key principle, and I would love you to be able to take it away, because it was one of the things I shared with those students in that group, is that we all have big goals. We have big dreams. We feel like we need to and should be living a life of purpose, of being able to help ourselves, our family, our loved ones, our community. But even with all that known, and we already know our goals, right? I hope that you know your goals. You still may not be moving forward. And so you're procrastinating for a specific reason. Now, we've talked about this on other previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays. We'll link up those shows today at the podcast. You can simply go to stephencabral.com/2117. But we use a very specific principle in mastery. Not the only one, but it's a big one. And I want to share that with you today. So the first step is this: know your goals, know what you want to get out of life. And again, I'm not going to go through that part here today on the show, but if you don't have a clear vision, a crystal clear vision of a target to strive for, it is almost impossible to achieve your goals. And that's because you don't have a clearly defined goal. So you don't even know then the next step, which is to take the actions on achieving those goals, right? So let's give you a couple examples. If someone comes into our practice, they're looking to get well. So maybe it's an autoimmune issue. That's specific, right? They're looking to lose weight. General, right? Wellness is just general, but autoimmune specific. Looking to lose weight. Okay, well, what's the weight loss that you want to lose? Is it 36 pounds? Is it 39 and a half pounds? Is it 53? You have to have a goal, right? So you have to have a goal. Now, the goal can change, but you need a target to strive for. And then people will come in saying, well, I want to work on anti-aging or longevity. Okay, well, what's the goal here? Right? What's the goal of longevity? Are any of your blood-based markers off? Do you feel like you're aging at a much more rapid rate? Do you feel like your muscles are kind of becoming more soft and not as supple as they should be? So again, we can look at those things, but we need to get specific, all right? So I want you to come up with a specific goal. Then I want you to ask yourself, who do I need to accomplish these for? All right? So the first answer, you might come to mind and say, well, they're for me. Okay, I totally agree with that. But in my opinion, most of us are also living a life in order to be able to help others at the same time. So if you have children, you're most likely living a life that is trying to enable your children to have maybe even a little better life than you had when you were growing up. Or maybe it's to be able to help them to learn certain principles in their childhood that they can take with them into the future. Maybe it's to be a role model for them that they can see what you are doing and act with the same passion and drive and ambition. So there's many different reasons. And in finance, it could be, well, you want to earn enough money in order to be able to send your children to the best schools, be able to provide them whatever it is that they may need. And the same could go for helping out your elderly parents or grandparents and community and church, et cetera. So just keep in mind, sometimes it's not just about you. And that's important as we get into using this principle. I think oftentimes that maybe it starts with us. I mean, I said that myself too. One of my biggest goals was to get my body as healthy as humanly possible, both body and mind. And that's because I knew if I was able to do it with me, and if you know my story, then of course you know how challenging that was to overcome, but I overcame it. And if I could overcome it, then I know for sure other people could as well, because they probably weren't in the same position, right? So that's how I looked at it. And I said, okay, there's this next level to it. So let's get into it. The principle that we're going to teach you today is called future projecting. And there's two pieces to it. So the main principle is called future projecting. There's a positive scenario and there's a negative scenario. Let's go through the positive first. Both serve different people at different times in their life, and I'll give you a couple different examples. So there's a first example. You want to think of it this way. So you think about your goal. Let's just come up with a specific goal. All right. So let's say right now you are suffering from, like many people in our practice, digestive issues, some brain fog, poor sleep, lower mood, lower energy. Very, very common in our practice. Very common, whether you know it or not, amongst most people when they start to get to their later 30s and beyond. But all of those things are very fixable, right? It doesn't mean, oh, you have to suffer from these things as you age. That is a bad bill of goods that many people have been served. What I want to share with you is this. That brain fog, that low mood, that low energy, that bloating, all of that can go away, 100%. And it can go away and be gone and never come back within about 12 weeks' time, right? So we're not going to give you anything hypey that says it could be gone in the next day. Certainly, you don't just all of a sudden wake up on week 12 and everything's better, right? It's a gradual progression where you feel better and better each and every week, but then it's gone with it for most people within about 12 weeks. So here's the thing, though. You have to think about that. Let's say that's your goal, right? Remove brain fog, more energy, better mood, better sleep, and no more bloating, right? For digestive issues. Okay. So that's our goal. So I ask you this with positive future projecting. You have to answer these questions. You have to say to yourself, if you were able to wake up and have great digestion, great energy, a great mood, no more brain fog, clear, crystal clear thinking, what would your life be like, right? What would it look like if you were to overcome all of those things in the next month, 3 months, which is that 12 weeks, 6 months, and a year from now? Meaning, like, if all of those issues went away, what do you think your life would look like in 6 months from now, 12 months from now? What would you accomplish if you had the energy back that you've always wanted? Right? So you have to answer that question. And you want it to be crystal clear. You want to create that vision. You want to take out a notebook and pen and actually write down, this is what my life will look like in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, if you have all the energy and the clarity of thinking that you need in order to, maybe it's write your first book, maybe it's to become a certified health coach, maybe it's to go back to school. It could be any number of things, right? Take on a second job. It could be anything that you want in order to meet your goals, financial goals, relationship goals, right? How much better would your relationships be if you had the more energy, if you wanted to actually hang out with people more and take your partner, your spouse out to dinner and all of those different types of things, right? How much better would your life be? How much better would it be if you actually had the energy to be able to play with your kids on the weekend and give them your full attention? How much better would life be? How much better would your relationships be? So I want you to write that down. So then I want you to write down, how will this make you feel? If you have plenty of energy, you're sleeping great, you're feeling great, you can eat food again and not be bloated, how will that make you feel? Right? Will you feel happier? Will you feel more accomplished? Will you feel proud? What will you feel like? Now, again, these are all things for you to think about. Whatever pops in your mind is the right answer because it's you. That's what your subconscious is telling you. Now, you can change over 6 and 12 months, and you will. That's the amazing thing. Once you reach your goal, you'll say, wow, if I achieve this, what else is possible? That's the amazing thing about goal achieving. And the last part I want you to answer is this, because we're not going to make this complicated, right? We're going to say, okay, we know what it did for you. We know how you will feel. How will it affect others? So if you're no longer suffering from bloating, brain fog, low mood, fatigue, poor sleep, etc., if you're not suffering from those anymore, and instead you wake up inspired with lots of energy, no digestive system issues, and no more brain fog and in a great mood, how will that affect others, right? How will it affect your children? How will it affect your family? How will it affect your coworkers? So how will it affect others? And most likely in a much more positive way. Will you be able to be them with them and for them more, right? What will it do for your direct relationship with your husband, with your wife, with your partner, right? What will it do for them? What about your parents? What about your family? What about at work? Will you get more accomplished? Will that help out the rest of your team? Think about that. Really answer these questions. And if you're doing it right, you should start to get excited. Maybe a little overwhelmed at the possibilities, but that's a good thing because you have to understand that those possibilities are a reality and that you can make this happen. So it should start to build you up with energy. Maybe a little bit of tension too, because you're saying, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. That's not what you have to worry about right now. All you need to worry about is the feeling of what is possible. That is positive future projecting. Remember, the ending of the procrastination is a little bit different. The way that you move forward is through positive future projecting because you get so excited that this reality that you just envisioned can be yours. And that will push you past that first initial obstacle, which is all you really need in order to get going. But there's one more part to this because positive future projecting is not enough for many people. Sometimes, and some people, oftentimes a lot of that pitta-based mindset, they can respond well to negative future projecting. Now, before I get started with negative future projecting, I do want to say that this is not the best one to use for people with a lower mood, right? With a history of depression, etc. This is for people that are just more angry with themselves, that pitta mindset that they haven't accomplished what they want to yet. Sometimes this works for these people, okay? So you want to think about this. Negative future projecting. So you think about it, same question, right? But this time, not if you accomplish your goals. What if you don't? So your goal right now is to increase energy, increase mood, right? You want to be better for yourself and for everyone around you. But what happens if you don't? What if you don't accomplish your goal and you just start to feel worse, even less energy, even lower mood, right? Even worse digestion, even more brain fog. And it just gets worse. What if it continues to get worse 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now? What happens if you just continue to let it go? What will your life look like at that point? Do you think it'll affect your relationships? Do you think it'll affect your finances? If so, how? Do you think it'll affect your work? If so, how? What about your overall body transformation goals and your health goals? Do you think you're going to get healthier or be able to lose the weight and get better shape? If your goals are you're moving further away from them, that you're becoming more sick, more unwell, more bloated, less energy, worse sleep, right? Think you're going to start to age at a much more rapid rate? Of course, right? So that is negative future projecting. You see yourself getting worse. You see yourself moving away from your ideal. For some people, that is a big kick to get going, to say, that is not me. That is a waste of my potential. That is a waste of who I am and what I've been given, this opportunity that I've been given in life. And they start to then get back into their goals. But if that's not enough, think about this. How will you feel? Will you feel more depressed? Will you feel like you're wasting your life? That for some people can be, again, a great motivator. I know it is for me. That I say, that's not, again, I use the 12-week year plan. We'll certainly be talking about that in a couple of weeks. I always love to talk about that towards the end of the year and into the new year. But I'll tell you this, I don't like to go more than a couple weeks without making some progress because I say, listen, I'm falling behind on the goals that I've set for myself. And I just don't want to look back with any regrets. So if I look back and I say, oh, I regret not doing this, I regret not doing that, that's the only life that I could imagine that I'm not very happy with. So the last part is this: how will it affect others? Because again, sometimes you don't necessarily care as much about you as you care about others. Many people are like that. So think about this. If you find yourself getting more sick, more tired, even lower mood, what do you think that'll do for your relationships? Think it'll improve your relationship with your spouse? How about your kids? How about your parents? What about family in general? What about going to work every day? What do you think that will do? So you have to think about that. How is it also affecting others? Because sometimes it's not just about you. It's about everyone else that you're around because you're a part of their world. You're a part of their reality. So remember, these are different strategies for different people. One paints a beautiful, bright picture. The other, a much more darker future that hopefully you push away from, right? So the goal of the negative future projecting is you see this outcome that is very, very bleak, very dark, very negative. And your job is to push that away, like NLP, push it away into the distance. Let it crumble. Let it fall apart. Say to yourself, that is not the life I'm going to live. And instead move towards that brighter picture, that light, that vision you have for yourself that is positive, that you want to be a part of, because when you look at that life, you say, yes, that is what I'm looking to achieve. But remember, you can use a combination of both. You just have to know yourself. If you're at a loss of where to start, always start with the positive future projecting. You can even cut out photos, images of the life that you want to live, the house that you want to have, the certification that you want to do, the body that you want to achieve, any of those specific things for you. But remember, you're you, so make them unique to you. Don't want someone else's life. Want the best life for you. That's really what it's all about. So I'm telling you right now, if you start to work on these things, you will be shocked at how then the plan unfolds for you. So I've always believed in setting a vision. I've always been a bit of a daydreamer of just saying, like, what if? I always use that what if, and I have a podcast on that as well. It's like, well, what if this was to happen? Because that, you're not forcing yourself to fully believe right away. You're just opening up possibility. Well, what if I was to be able to heal myself? What if I was able to be able to create this as a career? What if I was able to? And those things just open up possibility. You actually feel this lightness, and you can begin to daydream and journal it and even look at photos and all these different types of things, which starts to boost your spirit. And then here's what else happens. Since your mind is focused more on the positive than on the negative, you begin to be given opportunities, or you start to see insights as to how, if you took this particular path, it may move you just a couple more steps closer to your goal. And as you move those couple steps closer, well, then the next few steps reveal themselves as well. That is always how we move forward in life. We can never see the full path, but we can see the next 5, 10 steps in front of us. And that is what I'm looking for you to take today. So if I can help in any other way to give you some more tips on ending procrastination or moving your goals, I would love to. Just remember, each and every Mindset and Motivation Monday has one more tip that you can use that may resonate with you in order to be able to achieve your ideal life. So thank you so much for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you. And for all the show notes, head on over to StephenCabral.com/2117. And as always, if the show is helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve.